Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 5. We only have 2 weeks left, so I wanted to take this time to go over what the next 2 weeks look like and also to really talk about the final project and how that will be graded. There's a rubric for you to look at, so I want to show you where to locate that. And also, I just want to talk about, to get us started, about climate change, because obviously, if any of you are following the news, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, there's some major climate effects happening. If you're on the East Coast, you're being impacted from the fires from that are happening on the West Coast. There's huge fires happening right now in Oregon and all over the West. And then if you look at China, there's huge floods. In Germany, there's floods. So I'm sure you all have been relating what we've been learning in class to what you're seeing in the news. And so I wanted to share some options with you of things that you can follow or read to learn more, to get some tools for the overwhelm that comes from learning about climate change and how you can continue learning. If any of you are on Instagram, I have some great Instagram suggestions for you. So let's go ahead and go take a look at these things. So I'll go over this in 1 second, but I wanted to show you all. First of all, this article just came out in a couple weeks ago. It's called Climate Change Anxiety: How to Stop Spiraling and Make a Difference. And they have a lot of great suggestions here. It's by Rebecca Ruiz. So you can look this up and read through it. And it has a lot of great tools for how to deal with what you're learning about, learning about the loss of species and a warming earth and all the effects that we are uh, learning about over time as we start to become more aware of what's happening with climate change. So this has some great strategies that will help you. This program right here, this newsletter called Gen Dread, a newsletter about staying sane in the climate and wider ecological crisis. This is a podcast. This is a newsletter. They have a great Instagram account to follow. So in general, this Gen Dread is a great resource. And then if you go to Instagram, and also TikTok is a great place too. If you're any place that you are studying, that you are using social media, if you just search climate, you can look for different folks that are interesting to follow. This is one I really like called Climate in Color. It's has a lot of great, for instance, disrupting the news cycle to make climate change more visible. And they have some really well-researched things that they share, and they share resources. Also, if you just search climate here, you'll see there's some different folks to follow: Climate Reality, Chicks for Climate, Climate in Color. So you can just go through and search and start following climate youth ambassadors. Here's that Gen Dread I was talking about, NASA climate change. So you can add these to your social media and have little snippets of ways to get resources, get some solutions, and continue your education about climate change. But there's so many great pages. I'll just go through the Climate Resilience Project. Resilience is all about how do we move through this and carry on. So these are all some different great groups that you could look at. So those are just some resources to kind of think about in this age of climate change. And then let's go look at this week. So this week, we're going to be studying agriculture. Agriculture is how we grow our food, whether we're raising plants for food, veggies and fruits, or whether we're raising animals for food. And so the first thing you're going to do is watch some videos. And so there's one video we're all going to watch, and then you get to select a second video. And this assignment has the specifics of that, but it's a really great PBS project called Food Forward that's all about how folks are looking to raise food in a sustainable way. And there's some really great resources here. So you're going to take notes and share that for your assignment, and then you're going to the episode you get to pick has solutions, and you're going to share those with the class in this discussion. And then this week, you are working on your final project. So this Agriculture Solutions is a pretty short project or a pretty short assignment. And then the rest is really looking at the final project. So I don't want week 6 to be showing yet because it's not finished. So here's the final project materials. I have included some examples of student projects in the past that were really great if you want to take a look. And actually, I added the reflection piece. Used to be a write-up. If you remember, there's a reflection at the end of your project, and I've now included that as part of the presentation. So you won't see that in these projects when you look at them. Here's the final project submission. So it does have a link to the original final project in it. So the final project description, it does include a link to that. But what I wanted to show you all here is the grading rubric. So before you start working on it, or definitely before you submit your project, look over this final project grading rubric, and you'll see that I've broken down how you'll be graded on each part. So the major part is the project content, and that's worth 1/3 of your project. So this means you're covering the statistics, the solutions for sustainability. You're really including data. And then this goes through kind of how I would grade you based on how complete you are with that. The second part is based on your visuals. Do you have graphs? Do you have infographics? Do you have pictures? Do you have videos to support and engage your audience? Here's your citations. Some of you did not put your citations for your midterm project in MLA or APA format. And so if you have any issues with that or have questions about that, please come by during office hours and we can go over that together. And then the next part is spelling, punctuation, and formatting. So all programs, whether it's PowerPoint or Microsoft Word or Google Slides, they all have a tool. If you look under tools or formatting, they all have a tool that will check your project for you. So being in college, this is a good practice to get into before you submit anything, especially if you're going to transfer. You should scan it for, have the program you're using scan it for errors, okay? And another good resource would be have someone else read your project before you submit it, just glance over it to look for any issues. And then lastly, this is the summary and reflection piece. This used to be a separate write-up, and now I've included it just as slides. So you're addressing these questions. These were all in the final project description, but it's kind of you reflecting on what you learned, and also what are you going to do to reduce your ecological footprint going forward. So this is all within 2 to 3 slides, okay? So I just wanted to show you all that this rubric is here for you to check out. The other thing you're going to do this week is share your final project with the class. And then next week, you'll get a chance to go through some students' projects and comment on them. We will also be doing peer reviews next week. So let's take a look at the welcome page for this week to just show you all what we're doing next week. So this week, here we go. Welcome to week 5. This has an introduction to this week. That's where you found this video, but also you can see what we're doing next week. Next week, we will be studying water as our topic, and then there will be the last quiz of the quarter and peer reviews, and that's it. After next week, that's week 6. That's the last week of the quarter. And so I just want to give you an idea of what we will be studying next week. There is a reduced amount of materials this week. We are covering agriculture, but there's a lot less than usual to give you time to work on your projects, and there's no quiz this week. So next week's quiz will cover agriculture this week and water next week, mostly be about water. So that's it from me. Let me stop sharing. This is kind of the, these last 2 weeks, we're wrapping up our quarter. This is where you all get to study something that's of major interest to you and share that with the class. And as always, I have office hours, so please come by if you have any questions or if you'd like to say hello. I'd love to meet you all. And please feel free to reach out if you have questions. Have a great week.